This is me on an inhospitable glacier in Alaska. I was on a mountaineering expedition. I'd spent months preparing for it, bought all the gear, planned the trip down to the very last detail, told literally everyone I knew I was doing it, and after just 3 days of freezing in the tent, I quit. And it was absolutely the right decision.
Right now, this second, I should be standing on a literal ice sheet. Instead, I'm here with this, under a pure blue sky, in a t-shirt.
And honestly, after the week I'd had, it somehow felt like the perfect car. Because this isn't just a classic car, it's an escape machine. It is one of the most iconic, unapologetic American sports cars ever built.
Having the top down in this in LA, I mean, doesn't actually even get any better. I got the keys to this morning and all the stress and expectations of my original trip just faded away into nothing. So what's fascinating is that before the Corvette came along, America didn't really know how to make sports cars. But after the Second World War, soldiers started to return from Europe, having fallen in love with the British and Italian little sports cars that they found over there.
MGs, Triumphs, Jaguars. They were lightweight, agile, noisy, and incredibly fun to drive on a winding road. American drivers suddenly wanted something similar, but Detroit was only building massive, heavy ocean liners on wheels.
So Chevrolet scrambled to react, and they created the Corvette. The first one rolled off the line in 1953, and honestly, it looked fantastic. It had the futuristic styling, the lovely curves, sports car proportions. But there was another problem. It kind of sucked. It had a sluggish 6-cylinder engine and a fairly basic 2-speed automatic gearbox. It was painfully slow. It was basically a sports car that couldn't do any sporting.
Then Ford launched the V8 powered Thunderbird, and suddenly Chevrolet had a massive corporate fight on its hands. So they did the most American thing imaginable to solve the problem.
They threw away the 6-cylinder entirely and fitted it with a small block V8. Almost overnight, the Corvette transformed into a high-performance cultural icon that everyone wanted to own. By the time 1959 rolled around, the Corvette had transformed into exactly what people think of when they think of an American sports car. I mean, look at it! Quad headlights with this massively excessive chrome bumper on the front that has this kind of shark fin grille in it. Beautiful, deep side coves painted in contrasting colours. And a bonnet long enough to, I don't know, like have a banquet off or something. Every line and curve on the outside is a masterpiece too. It is a physical piece of 1950s America, a time of post-war optimism and American might. Space travel was just around the corner. Petrol? Practically free. Another thing that I find absolutely mad about this car is that the bodywork isn't actually steel, it's fiberglass. Now, we see composite bodies on supercars all the time and you don't bat an eyelid, of course. But back in the 1950s, using plastic and fiberglass on a mass production car, that was so ahead of its time. It made the car lighter and it made the car rust-proof. Wasn't so good if you got a scratch or a dent, but it did allow for these ludicrously dramatic curves that you just couldn't really replicate with a steel machine. Depending on the exact specification, these could produce well over 230 horsepower, sometimes all the way up to 300. Which might not sound like a lot when a standard family hatchback can get you that these days. But you have to remember, this was 1959.
Over in Britain, the original Mini had only just arrived on the scene with a tiny 34 horsepower engine. The legendary Jaguar E-Type didn't even exist yet. Meanwhile, Chevrolet was mass producing these V8 monsters by the thousands, defining the sound of the American highway.
One thing I love about traveling is that every now and then you can end up having a day or a few days or an experience that absolutely categorically wasn't part of the plan. I mean, this time a week ago I was literally on a glacier with -5, 60-mile-an-hour winds, doing my business into a biodegradable bag. Not that cushy. Now, I'm cruising around LA in a piece of automotive history. I'm definitely not sad about it. The first thing that surprised me about this car when I started driving it was actually just how modern it feels. You think of a car from the 50s, you think it's going to feel absolutely ancient. You know, clunky gear changes, super heavy steering. But actually, I'd happily do a really long road trip in this. If I had sun cream, that is. I mean, listen, don't get me wrong. When you're going at slow speeds, the steering is extremely heavy. And there's this kind of dead zone in the middle where you move the wheel a few inches and nothing really happens. I mean, look, You know, when you watch an old movie and you think, why are they moving their hands around so much? That's ridiculous. But actually in this, you're kind of constantly adjusting a little bit, but it doesn't really do anything. The old drum brakes too, they kind of want to lock up at the first sign of any real pressure. I mean, look, like that, you just tap it and they just immediately lock up and you get this screech. But it all kind of adds to the drama, to be honest. The suspension is, well, jiggly wiggly. And to all you naysayers, yes, that is a technical term. So this car is obviously pretty ridiculous by modern standards, but it is incredibly fun to drive. I mean, listen to the noise. The V8 just sounds absolutely ridiculous. And we drove this last night to dinner and we were going through Beverly Hills, and it was just one of the best drives of my life. I mean, obviously I'm getting the nostalgia element of being in Beverly Hills in LA as a tourist, but driving this around anywhere would be incredible. Doesn't get old. The level of attention this thing generates too is just absolutely insane. I mean, I think it's particularly extreme in America, where I do genuinely feel like there's just a kind of, oh look, brakes squealing again. I do feel like there's kind of a generally higher level of enthusiasm for cars in the US. I've really felt that when I've been driving around here. I mean, modern supercars obviously get attention, but I always feel like it's kind of tinged with an air of cynicism or envy or just downright hatred, to be honest. This thing, when people see it, it just makes them feel so joyful. It's such an enthusiastic reaction. I genuinely think in the time that I've had this, I've probably had 50 or 60 people say something. If it's just a thumbs up or more of a longer conversation when I'm actually pulled over. But it's amazing because you just have that moment of human connection. The thing about LA is I think it's one of the places on earth where a car like this makes pure, undeniable sense. The palm trees, the constant sunshine, the massive open roads. This car was just born to drive around here. Being here in the US, I think I've really got a grasp on what American car culture is all about. And I think one of the main things is just style. So many people are obsessed with their own car. I mean, driving around here, I've seen so many modded trucks or like crazy soft tops and boosted M3s or Camaros or Dodge Chargers, all sorts of stuff. I think Europeans can often look at classic American cars like this and say, oh, they're not proper sports cars, you know, they're too heavy, they don't handle properly. But I think that's to kind of misunderstand American cars, because these weren't built to handle tight European alpine passes. They were built for the huge open roads that you have in America and eating up the enormous distances that people have to travel just to see family or friends or whoever really. And actually for that, they make absolute, complete, perfect sense. These cars were designed in an era when the American interstate system was brand new. It promised endless freedom, the ability to cover massive distances on huge open roads. California does feel like the absolute natural habitat for this car. It just feels so good cruising around in it, under the massive open skies and the great weather and the warm summer evenings, even just turning up at valet parking. And not for some kind of pretentious reason that you want to show off by turning up in this car. I mean, obviously I don't even own it, so that would be a ridiculous statement. But more just because of the conversations that you end up having and the way that it makes you feel. And ultimately, if you're going to buy one of these days, you're buying it because of the way it makes you feel driving it on a Sunday evening, or indeed any time you drive it. And I can tell you that the feeling is absolutely exceptional. I might have mentioned it a few times already in this video. It is funny how life works out. Right now I should just be in a completely different setting, on a glacier surrounded by ice falls, but I find myself cruising around Beverly Hills looking at some of the most absurd houses I've ever seen in my life, driving a '59 Corvette. And I definitely don't regret my decision, because even though the mountaineering course was absolutely incredible, I mean, it was totally insane, and it was such a privilege to see Alaska and those thousands of years old glaciers and ice falls. If I hadn't made that decision, I wouldn't right now be sitting in this absolute beauty of a car. I think sometimes in life we can get very attached to the plans that we've made for ourselves, and we can stick at them even when we know they're not really making us happy. But actually, sometimes in life, everything doesn't go according to plan. And thank God, because actually I think if it did, life could be pretty boring. Thanks very much for watching. I'm Jack Clancy. Please hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.